In this video, I'm going to showcase the Smart Trade Control user interface for MetaTrader 5. I'm going to show you the different settings, the different pages, how to navigate it, and how to use it really. But first of all, maybe let's just talk about why I made this user interface and what I'm trying to solve by creating this. I think most of us are familiar with, or all of us should be familiar with, in MetaTrader. When we want to enter the market, we basically have two options available. We can either buy a fixed lot size at market, or we can right click and then place a pending order. And with both options, we only have the functionality of setting our volume, our lot size manually. And if we want to risk a certain amount, let's say we want to risk $100, then we have to calculate based on the distance. So if you want to go short here, we would maybe calculate my stop loss is going to be up above these highs. That's 230 points. Then you would have to calculate how much I want to risk based on my account balance. If you want to risk a percentage amount, and then you have to calculate the amount of points up to your stop loss area, and then you figure out what your stop loss is. And if you're always only trading Euro USD or something like that, it's fairly easy. But the moment that you start trading indices or instruments like gold, metals, whatever commodities, and it starts getting more challenging, and it's just it's frustrating. So basically, in essence, what this user interface does for you is just you click a button and then you immediately get two lines up. You have your stop loss and you have your target, your take profit. You can drag them up and down. And depending on how much you want to risk, so you have your risk settings over here. You just click, do you want to risk a cash amount? Do you want to risk a balance amount? And you see here the lot size has changed. So now we're risking 2% of the account balance. That's going to be roughly $200 as displayed over here on the stop loss line. If we change this to cash amount, you'll see it changes to 0.8 lots, and you're going to risk $100 over here on the stop loss line. So that's essentially what it does. And if you want to then change to a sell position, you just drag the line to the other side, and then they basically switch sides, right? Then you have some other functionalities in terms of how to what you can do with these lines. But maybe let's first go through sort of the basic structure of the panel. So you have 4 different pages. At the moment, there's more coming in the future when there's more trade functionalities built into the user interface. But for now, you basically have 3 panels that are essential, and then one that just displays some information at the moment. So on the vertical line here, we have the page toggles, so the sidebar menu. The first page is this main trading page that you see here. That's broken up into 4 toggle buttons that does different things with the lines that you see when they come on the chart. Then you have your button 1 and button 2. They're not always buy and sell, so we'll go through that. Also, you'll see once we toggle this on, it's 2 buys, 2 different types of buy options. We'll go through that as well. Of course, when you then change this over, then it's going to be 2 types of sell positions, right? So when the stop loss is above, you can only sell, and vice versa. Then down here, you just have some visual displays. So here you just have, first of all, here you have the entry price that if you click this button, how much you're going to enter with, your lot size, your volume, and that of course depends on your risk. If you want to risk 5%, then you see the lot size here changes immediately. If you want to risk $100, it changes again, etc. You can then change these to however you wish. Now it's risking 5%, $50 because my account is in dollars. If it was in euro or British pounds or whatever, it would calculate depending on your account currency. And then obviously it changes if you look at these numbers here, as you make a wider stop, it's going to decrease the lot size. When you come in closer, you need a higher lot size to risk $50 for just this distance. Then you have here just a display to show the amount of pips or the price. If you click this button, then it goes between showing the price of your current stop loss and take profit, levels or the pip distance from the entry point and down. Then in the next section here, you have your risk amount. So you can choose between fixed lot and then you just set in here what you want to risk, or you can choose a cash amount if you want to risk $50, $20, $100, whatever. Then you have your balance of like percentage of balance. And again, you just click to change. If you want to risk 1%, you just edit it there and make sure that this is highlighted, this little radio button here. Then you have percentage of equity. So if you have a lot of positions floating and you want to only risk of your current floating equity, basically. Then down below here, we have an option to enter into ATR stop loss mode. Basically, if we turn this one on, you see that now I can't drag this anymore, or it's gonna always click back to whatever the ATR is at this moment. So if we change this, first of all, we have the period. So if you can change this to, let's say 5, then we have the time frame that the ATR is on. So now we are on the M15. So maybe we want to trade on the M15 volatility. If you're not familiar with the ATR basically just measures the size of the previous X bar. So if you set this to 5, it's going to measure the average range of these 5 bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this chunk here is going to show you the average of that. And then if we set the multiplier to 1, then our stop loss is basically the size of the average candle size within the last 5 bars, right? If we set this to 20, then it's going to be the average size of the last 20 bars. Then you have your multiplier down here. So if you want to have a little bit more wiggle room, you set this maybe to 2, or you can set it to 3. And it also displays down here in this red display bar the pip size of the current ATR. And of course that changes. If volatility expands, you will see a larger ATR reading. If volatility compresses, then you'll see a lower. So that's some people that like to trade like that. They don't necessarily use swings or anything else to calculate where they put the stop loss, and this is helpful in that sense. So when that's on, you can't move the stop loss. Of course, you can still move your target, but the stop loss is gonna get fixed to the ATR value distance from the entry price. So, and again, if you're scalping, maybe you just wanna, you know, and you're in and out fast of the market, you just wanna adapt your stop loss to the current volatility, and that's all. You don't really worry about swings or anything like that for where you place your stops. Then down here we have RR ratio. That's basically if you turn on the 4th button, then the risk to reward gets fixed at 1 to 2, as long as this is 2. So that means the risk is half, or let's say the reward is double the amount, 2 times the amount of your risk. If you set this to 3, then you will see that changes and you have a fix. And now if you drag either or the take profit or the stop loss, then the opposite is going to adjust accordingly, right? So if you have a larger stop loss, you'll also have a larger take profit. So yeah, you can play around with that. Then we have OCO, enable OCO. That is one cancels to the other. That basically just means if you have placed pending orders. So when you click button number 2 here, you can also see when you hover over the buttons, you'll see what the button is going to do. Now for button 1, it says erase TP and stop loss lines. So if we click that again, it erases them. And then when it's off, it's going to change into draw TP and stop loss lines. So when you click that, so you always just can hover over each button or each setting, and then you'll see what it does. So if you hover over here when it's off, you can see it now says release entry line from price. So if you click that, now we're going to be able to also drag our midline up and down. So if we are above price, we will have now the option to either again buy market. So that's going to execute at the current ask when we're buying. But we can also now place limit orders. We can place a pending stop, or we can place a pending limit. So now we have these 2 orders on. And if I engage this one, then basically when one gets filled, the other one gets deleted, right? If this is off and this one gets filled, then the other one is going to stay until that gets filled as well. That might be useful if you are like trading a straddle trade on a news event or something like that. Let's say there's news coming up now in a couple of minutes, and we say if price shoots up in this direction, you want to put a buy stop up there. And in the other case, if price shoots down instead, because obviously before the news we don't know which direction the market is going to go, but we know there's probably going to be a significant move. We want to place a sell stop there. So now if price goes this direction, we enter the market here and we ride the trend up. If price shoots down, we will sell here at this stop level and then ride the trend down. And in that case, you maybe want to say if there is like a wick, like a whipsaw kind of manipulation, you only want to get into the first. And then once that's filled, you don't want to enter to the other direction. And then you just basically click here. We can see how that maybe works out here. If I try to get one of these filled, let's just get up really close here. Be nice if, well, now the price is obviously going up, so let's try and get the other one filled. Okay, so that got filled, and then you saw the other one got deleted, right? So now we're in that one buy position, and the sell stop got deleted immediately, basically. So that's the first page. Maybe let's go through these different buttons. So again, you'll notice also when I toggle on the stop loss and take profit, it adjusts automatically to the price scale. So if you're on a smaller time frame now, it's like a 10 pip 1-to-1 risk reward, because that just it's within the price scale or the zoom state of your chart. If you're on the H4, you don't want to see 10 pips because that would be ridiculous. Now you see 100 pips, right? So it always, depending on the instrument, the price scale and whatever, so it's very user-friendly in that way. So the first button is to turn on the stop loss and take profit lines and the entry line. The second button, we already sort of went through that. That is to be able to enter pending order mode. The third button is to freeze. And again here, if you are on here and you then click off, you'll see that this snaps back to price. And once it's there, you can't drag it. It's always going to snap back to price. So that's how that works. Then you have the free stop loss and take profit distance to entry line. That basically means if this one is on, then when the center line is moving, the other two lines are moving as well. So you might say, okay, I want to keep this risk reward. I want to place a pending order down here. Let's say we have like a break and retest. It looks like it already did that. But anyway, let's just say we want to enter here. Then you just drag the center line up. You can still drag the TP and the stop loss line individually, but just they are always, when the center line changes, then they're locked into the distance. And that becomes helpful when you are locked to price. Then you'll notice that now it is always going to stay at 96 pips and 140 pips when price is going up and down, right? When you have price changes. And that might be useful when you are trading. You want to always risk, or like aim for 80 pips maybe, and you always want to risk 40 pips, whatever, and you're on the M1 time frame and market is moving fast. Instead of locking your stop loss to a fixed price, then now it's going to move up and down as price changes. So you're always just ready to enter. Opposite, if you take the lock off, that's always also helpful. So let's say you have a swing down here, you want to keep the distance down here, you want to see what price does when it wiggles around, but you don't want your stop loss to go up and down as price does whatever it does. You just want to keep it here, and then when you're ready, you enter. So that's the log. And again, the third one, we already went through that one. That's just the fixed risk to reward, basically. And again, if you have this one on and the center line is unlocked, then you can also drag the center line up and down. And then the risk reward ratio as set down here is always going to remain the same. Now we have it to 1.5, so no matter which line you drag, it just stays that way. Then we have, maybe let's just go through the user inputs here. There's not a whole lot right now. We have this one, I'll go through that one. Minimum spread for buy, bid, sell, ask. I'll explain what that is next when we close the menu here. Then we have the default risk model when stop loss is activated. At the moment it says 2% balance. You can change that if your default mode is cash amount. That's helpful because you'll notice when I take the risk reward or the stop loss and basically when I take the stop loss line away from the chart, obviously we can't risk a percentage amount, we can't risk a dollar amount because we need the distance to the stop loss to be able to calculate that. So you'll see when the lines are off, it always goes back to fixed lot, right? And then you choose your lot here. The moment you toggle this on, it changes to your default risk type. And I have set a default to risk balance, so it's always going to revert back to this the moment that the lines are drawn. But let's say that you are always not risking a balance, a percentage amount, you risk a fixed cash amount. Let's say you're trading a prop firm and you have a max daily loss, whatever. Then it might be easier to just calculate a cash amount. So you can change that up in the settings, which one, because the moment we toggle this one off, now it's on cash amount. We take the lines off. If we toggle it back on, it's going to go back into the default. All right, so you might want to change that to whatever works best for you here. Then you saw that we have, this one, minimum spread for buy, bid, sell, ask. Buy, bid, and sell, ask is basically, maybe let's go, well, when Euro USD right now, it's kind of a low spread, right? Let's go into another symbol, like gold. Gold has typically a little bit of a wider spread than Euro USD at the moment. You can see it over here, it's about 30 points. So when you buy, you're going to buy at the top line. I don't know if you can see it, but there's two lines here. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. And that might fluctuate, especially on an instrument like gold. You'll see they widen when there's volatility coming in, and like now you see they sort of like widen a little bit and then they compress a little bit again. And if you're scalping an instrument that has a wider spread, you might want to not buy at the top line, but you want to buy at the better price. So you save whatever 20 points, and this can fluctuate. And I know in this broker it goes up to sometimes 200, 300 points, depending on what's going on in the market, the liquidity and so forth. So when you do, instead of buying at the market, you can buy at the bid. So that's the lower price. And what it does is, instead of buying directly, it's going to place a pending order at the lower line, so at the bid price, and then it's going to wait for price to revert down to that area and get filled. So you save 20, 30 points. Obviously, you do run the risk of not getting filled if price is just going to go straight up from there. Let's just try and do it. So now place, you see here, place a pending limit order. Let's see if price is running away from it. You see, this is exactly what I talked about. Most of the time, you will get filled immediately. Let's try it again here. Okay, so there we got filled immediately and we saved 20 points. So if you're scalping something like this, you might want to use that, but you can also just use a buy market. If you're not so stingy, or if you're not scalping, then the buy bid definitely doesn't make sense. And of course, if you're then changing this, it's going to be sell ask. That basically just means typically when you sell market, you're going to sell at the lower line, so a slightly, like here for example, let's try and sell ask here. You see there we beautifully saved whatever 40 points or whatever, and the input here, minimum spread, is just if the spread on the instrument you're trading is 1 point or less, when it's set to 1, then instead when you hit the sell ask, it's going to immediately just sell market, because if the spread is very low, it doesn't make sense to open a pending order 1 point away and wait for that. It only makes sense really if your spread is more than 10 points, I would say. So that's just the input. You can change that to whatever you want so that it reverts. Instead of putting a pending order, it's going to revert into the market execution. Then you have your magic number. You can set that to whatever you want, but it shouldn't be the same magic number as other EAs that you're running on your account. Then you have enable hotkeys. Default it's set to false, so you want to set that to true if you want to use hotkeys. At the moment, we only have a buy hotkey and a sell hotkey. I have set it to W and S. And I just like that it's on the left side. I use the right side for the mouse. That way I'm in and out fast, but you can change that to whatever. If you want to have it to maybe like 1 and 2, you can set it to that. So you're buying on when you press 1 and you're selling when you're pressing 2, or you can, whatever you want to put there basically. Then we have the panel positions. Sometimes you maybe want to move this out a little bit, so the X position is just going to move it to the right. The higher the number, the Y position is going to move it up and down. So most of the time you're just going to be worried about the X position. So if you move it out here, you'll see that it moves out slightly. Why you maybe want to do that? Let's say now we're going to open a bunch of positions here. Now you can actually see the positions over here where they're at. You can always also just collapse the panel. So depending on how you like to see things, it can be helpful that you can see, you know, the lot size and whatever. If you have your panel at the default placement all the way to the left, then now you can't see that anymore. Then you have to go up and click here to minimize the panel. Okay, so that's basically all the functionality and how to enter into the market. Then we have, let's just go back to EURUSD here. Let's go to a bit of a smaller time frame. So let's say that we are opening some positions, some buys, some sells, some buys, some sells. Here on page 2, also when you go over with the mouse, you can see this one. This page is called Manual Position and Order Management. The first page is just here. You can put your trade comment. So default is just set to Smart Trade Control, but you can put whatever. That was a little bit my comment. Then now you'll see in the history, it has set Smart Trade Control up until now. If we close these positions, let's just so after we have changed now to the new comment and we go in, we'll see that the trade comment has changed to my comment. So that's just what's going to display in your log when you finish an operation. Then it's instead of Smart Trade Control, now it's going to say my comment. So here you can put your name or you can put whatever you want. So let's just again open some positions, some buys, some sells. And again, I'm just using the hotkeys here to open these positions. In the section below, we have basically availability to close positions. So in the first one, we have just closes all. So if we hit this one, it's going to close all of these positions. If we hit the profit, you'll see if there are any in profit, it will display over here in the text, right? So right now we have 0 that are in profit. We have 2 that is at 0 now. There's a few that is, so we have $4 profit. So if we click this one now, you'll see that the 2 that were in profit, they got closed, and the 2 that were in loss, they are still there. So this closes all, this closes the ones that are in profit, and this one closes the one that are in loss at the current state, right? Because obviously that changes on any price change. You might go from a winning position to a losing position. Then we have close partial. If this text field here is empty, it's going to close the partial of the last position in the array. So it's going to be this sell position. So if I set this to let's say I want to close 30%, then this should now, when I hit the close partial, takes 0. So it's gonna leave 0.7 lots on the table. So when I click this, you'll see now this is 0.7. But let's say you don't want to, it's not the last position that you want to close a partial off, but it's actually this one. Then you go up here and you put the ticket number. Unfortunately, in MetaTrader, there's no way to copy it directly here from the terminal, so you have to put it in manually. It's a bit annoying, but that's just how it is. So let's say this is 4524. 25, it's very small. 25917, and let's say we want to take 60% off of that. Then now when we hit partial, it took off 0.6%, and left 0.4 or 0.6 lots. It took off 60% and left 40% open. The same goes if you have pending orders. So let's just place a couple of pending orders here. So buy stop, and let's just put a buy limit also. So now when you come back into this page, you'll see, let's just go into let's trade first, close our positions here. Now we only have the pending orders left. So you see place. They're not open positions, they're just pending stop and limits. So again, you can close all, you can close just the limits if there's multiple limits, or you can close just the stop orders. And again, when you hover over, it says it in the label: delete pending stop orders, delete pending limit orders, or delete all pending limit orders. So if we click on limit orders, it's only going to take away the limit order. Now when we take away the stop, also the stops are gonna get removed. I think that's fairly simple. On this page, there's much more fun stuff going on. You have your break even, you have your trailing stop, and then we have the cumulative TP and cumulative stop loss. I use this a lot myself. Trailing stop sometimes, but typically I'm in and out fairly fast, and I'm not really trying to trail anything. But the functionalities are there. So let's say that we are in a position, we want to trail. I think we're all familiar with this. Let's just say we want to start at 0.1. So that means at the moment it says to pips. So we can change these, right? So let's just start with pips. So that means when we're 0.1 pip in profit, so 1 point in profit, we want to trail at a 5 pips stop. So let's just try and open a position here. Okay, so now we got into a little bit of profit there. So let's see if this is going to continue up or if it's going to continue down. Let's just also open maybe a sell position, then it should go any of the directions. If price is moving at all, I think you should be familiar with what a trailing stop is. It basically just means every time that we get a price change to the upside higher than the last highest price, then the trailing stop is going to trail with you. So if price is going to move up in this direction, the trailing stop is going to keep staying at a 5. You saw now the onto the downside, it moves down. So you can catch some larger moves. Basically, if price shoots down, the stop loss is going to trail behind price until price reverses and takes you out at the stop. But if there is a nice big trend, then you can catch some good pips like that. Then there's the different options here. You can do the same. Let's just show how the money aspect works. So now we can set it to once we're in $1 profit, we want to trail maybe at a $50 distance. So now that happened we immediately got into profit. So it immediately placed a stop loss, and now you'll see that the distance from here to here is going to be, I guess it should be 50 points because we have a 1 lot open. Yeah, 50 points. So it always stays at a 50 point distance from the highest price while we're trailing. You can also set on cumulative trailing stop and cumulative break even. That means if you have multiple positions open, let's open another one. Now you see, because we take a dollar amount, it comes much closer, because now we have 2 lots open. So now we only need 25 points. The average of these 2 positions plus 25 points down to the stop loss. And of course that adjusts if you change your lot size. Let's say we change this to 3. It's gonna get even closer again, because we take the volume weighted average of the position, so it calculates also the volume. And you'll see immediately now it's trailing much closer to the price. Let's just zoom in a little bit maybe so we can see what's going on. So cumulative, when that's on, it basically just means that it measures all of your positions together and is trailing all of the positions as one position. So it's always now at a $50 loss from the highest point. Of course, the trick is to get the trading stop into a profitable, because if it's turned on and then price goes against you, well, then that's the same as hitting your stop loss. So yeah, cumulative just means all of the positions together. If this is off, then they're all going to be individual. So it's going to trail each position individually. So you're going to have 3 different stop losses on when you have when that's off. Then we have, let's just close these positions. Okay, so that would have been a good trade anyway. Then we have, so here you can also set it to pips, RR, percentage of your balance, or money amount. So the RR is if you have already have a stop loss on. You need a stop loss in order to use the RR method here. And it's also good if you don't have a current stop loss, it's just going to revert back to 10 pips as a default, because basically what it means, if we said we want to start at so let's say we want to start at 0.5, that means that when price gets up to here, so half the distance from here to here. So if this is 90 points, and at 45 points, so right here the trail will start, and then you maybe want to trail at a 1R distance. So that's always going to remain the same risk reward basically. So it just trails at the same distance. So of course when you use that function, you'll need to have a trailing stop or a stop loss initially. I don't really use that functionality, but you can if you want. Then percentage of balance is the same. You just calculate the balance. Yeah, you'll figure that out. The break even works exactly the same. It's just a break even. So start is now, well, we can turn this on and then say if we are 2 pips in profit. So now when we get a little bit in profit of these both positions, they should, we're in RR mode now. We need to get it into something smaller. So now we're in dollar mode. So when we're in $2 in profit, it just locks it at the cumulative break even plus $1. So that's how that works. You can also set it to, like, let's just set it to pips. So now it's going to put it basically at when it's so the start and the profit, basically the start is when it starts. So we want to start at 2 pips. Now you see it moved it up to 1 pip in profit instead of what was it before, $1 or something. So basically what that does is just it moves your stop loss into take profit, but it's not into a profit amount. You can set that here, how much either you want to secure 1 pip, whatever, a percentage amount, a money amount, once it's breaking to even, instead of just having it to 1. And you'll notice you can't put a higher number in this one. If I set this to a higher number than the start, it's going to go to the start minus 0.1. So that's just a safety, because obviously you can't place a stop loss at a higher price than where price is right now. Then the last 2 boxes down here, I like these a lot. Cumulative TP basically just means if we have one position open, right now we just have this buy position, nothing much happens, because activate position is set to 2. If I set this down to 1, it's going to place a TP at the 10 pips different. And again, we have the functionality of percentage, of money amount, and pips. Here we don't have the RR because that doesn't make sense in this mode. So what that does basically, now when it's set to 2, if I place another position, it's going to place a, now I just need a tick to come in here. So there we came, obviously everything runs on ticks. So sometimes if there's no ticks for a while, it takes a little bit. So now we have both of these, and the positions are right on top of each other. It would be nice if we get a little bit of price movement here, and maybe we'll go into, well, everything really seems to be pretty flat right now. There's not a lot of price movement. I'll show you how it works when price starts moving a little bit more. I like to have this on maybe like a money amount. So now you see it got taken out of take profit because the money amount was, we were already $10 in profit. But if we set this to, let's say 50, and we just lower this to a little bit more of a decent lot size, we take 1 lot, we place an order. We can also just set this to 1, then it immediately places the take profit. So now the distance between the entry and here is going to be 50 USD, as you can see here. And when I hover over the, if it was show up there, $50. Let's just get a bit of a, I use this for like grid trading. So here we go. Now if I click another one, you see now we have an average price, so the volume weighted average. And then now this is going to be, when these 2 positions combined get up to here, we're going to have a $50 win, right? And then if price continues going down, maybe on this wick, you like to have another one. So maybe you can just do like this to prepare yourself. Let's say we want to come down to here. We want to risk a fixed amount. The other ones we're also using 1 lot. So maybe we'll increase this one to 2. And then we'll place that right there. And now if price comes down to here, we'll enter this position. Let's just put it a little bit closer just for demonstration purposes. Let's hope price comes down here. Then it will open this position and immediately we'll modify the take profit so that we have a cumulative take profit of $50. So that's quite nice if you're grid trading or if you're like averaging into your positions. Obviously you can always come down and change this. Let's say, okay, I'll just take it off. We're now at $17 profit. Let's say if it goes to 20, we are out. So now you see that the take profit moved down and there we got out. So this one is still there because it didn't get filled, the pending limit order. So let's just take that one away. You can do the same with the stop loss. So let's say you're trading on a prop account or on your own account and you don't want to risk more than a certain percentage or a certain money amount. Then you can turn this one on, cumulative stop loss. And let's say you only want to risk, let's just say 1,000, or let's just say 500. All right. Then now, okay, so this is the take profit. Now it's still set at 20. So let's just lower this one to 1. Then it's also going to place the stop loss here in a bit. Okay, so now you see the stop loss is up here, and the cumulative take profit is down here. So that means if price goes up to here, you lose $500 because that's what you put here as your max. If price goes to take profit, you get $20 because that's what you put as your take profit. Obviously, you can change these settings as you like, but many times if you are grid trading, you get a lot of small wins that adds up over time. You keep your stop loss far away. Let's see if we add now another one here, another sell position. Let's see if it breaks out or not. So you notice when I added another sell position, both the stop loss gets closer, but also the take profit gets closer. But obviously the more I add, the more volume I have on, the narrower the stop loss is gonna be because there's more volume. So as you add positions, let's just show, you'll see that the stop loss gets closer and closer and closer, but also the TP gets closer and closer and closer. So sometimes what can be quite nice is let's say there's like a little demand zone down here. I normally don't really worry about the stop loss because it's gonna be overridden by the automated functionality anyway. So let's say we have this demand zone down here. We place and then one down below here. There's like a liquidity sweep. So now basically what's going to happen is when price comes down to here and fills this order, if it comes down to here, it immediately changes the take profit to be at a $20 profit, and it immediately changes the stop loss to be at a $500 loss. I mean, and these numbers, it doesn't really matter. It's just to showcase what it does. So basically, it will come into this price, and the deeper it goes, the closer it gets to the take profit, and you know you're never gonna lose more than whatever amount that you set over here. So that can be quite handy for like automated grid trading. I will make that easier. I'm gonna add another module here to the trade panel where you can easily set those pending orders and then automate your exits like that. Obviously, because this is happening on tick, you have to be connected. The computer has to be connected to the trade server. So you need to run that on a VPS or on a computer that's on and connected to the internet, both for the trailing stop and for these cumulative TP and stop loss. So I think that's pretty much it. On the last page here, there's just a little bit of comments. I have written, well, join our Telegram channel or the group to add suggestions. If there's anything you would like me to add, you can just write in there. And there's a little bit of like what's coming up in the next update. So basically just go in here, you copy this, just press Control-C when it's highlighted, and then put that into a browser that will then link you to the Telegram group where we can discuss things and debug and whatever. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, just hit me out, write me a private message, or just write directly in the Telegram group, and I'll be there responding and updating the panel as we go along. And there might be minor bugs. I've been using it myself for a while, but of course when you use it across many different brokers, then there might be minor things that needs to be adjusted. So I'll make sure to be fast on that if I get any, if I hear any issues from any users. So yeah, that's it. Take care. Be in touch. Ciao.